I placed on everyone's desk a media kit, and this media kit that's on your desk is something I give to every prospective client, whether I walk in their office with it, mail it. I thought it would be important for you to see what's involved in a media kit. You always want to put a letter explaining what your product is about, give a sample of your product, and the price sheet. There's really no difference on how to sell something. The only difference is the product itself. It's all about marketing, getting the name out there, educating people on what it's all about. I got married in my early 30s and thought I worked enough for now, and I was privileged enough to take off a few years and spend some time with my children. But I made myself a promise that the moment my child can put the key in the door and be able to stay home and be self-reliant and do their homework and I don't have to sit over them, I was going to be back out there again. I have a sister who's 11 years older than me, stayed home to raise her children, never went back, and now that her kids are almost 30 and 35, she's going out into the workforce and they're offering her $10 to $15 at a high end, $15 an hour to work in her 50s. So it's really, really important, even if you love being with your family, once you know they've gotten a solid foundation, you really should get back out there again. It's important for yourself, for your self-esteem, and as a woman, I'm telling you, you need to stay out in the world and to see what's happening and not just worry about what to make your kids for lunch or dinner. As Ted was saying, he actually had a gentleman who was working for him a long time, Bruce Jacobson, and Bruce has been a publisher for 25 years in the magazine newsstand business. So he published magazines and he distributed magazines to newsstands all over the country. He was looking to do something new, and Ted, as you all know, is the person you go to when you have a great idea, and hopefully if he likes it and he values and thinks there's money into it, he's interested in hopping on board. And he knew that I was looking for something, so he had asked me if I'd be interested in speaking with Bruce and maybe brainstorming together what we can do. Knowing that I've always loved the beauty business, at one point I even went to a private label cosmetic and skincare company, and I had labels made. My middle name is Star, so it was called Star Creations. When I was given this opportunity, I ran with it. And there are a lot of decisions that have to be made that you never think you have to make when you decide to own a business. First of all, when you're a wife and a mother and you're starting a new business, that new business, unfortunately, really has to take priority to get it off the ground. When we decided to come out with this magazine, there's a lot of steps to take till it actually becomes print. I gave you our latest publication, but we previous have already had about 10 publications, this being the first one, and then just going on from there. Cindy Crawford, Brooke Shields, who I actually interviewed. That was the first interview I did on my own. Christina Applegate. So we had to decide what kind of paper it's going to be. What kind of font are we going to use? Is it going to be a glossy? What's the size of the publication? Who are we marketing to? The baby boomers are the largest population in this country. So they are really the people that I wanted to target with this publication. Image, which consists currently of Long Island Image and New York City Image, is a beauty and wellness publication. Nothing is done like this, which is always something you should look for when you're looking to open a business. How saturated is the market with what you want to do? We thought it was a great topic, and as I said, it hasn't been done before. In our brainstorming, we decided that we're going to go to doctors to be our prospective clients, and we're going to try to sell the idea to them. Bruce's job was to specifically do the production of the magazine. That's what he likes to do. He's a publisher. He knows how to put the magazine together. He knows how to contact the printer, how to contact the distributor, how to go on the computer and put the whole thing together. And that's really all he wanted to do. He wanted to be involved totally in the production end, and my end was to bring the clients to the table, because that's what funds the publication. It's a complimentary publication. We're in Pathmark, wall bounce, doctor's offices, nail salons, hair salons, gyms, Long Island Railroad stations. We're all over. And like in any business, you have to think, well, where am I going to put this product so people pick it up? You can go on the internet for your information, but when you're sitting on the railroad, when you're sitting getting your hair colored, when you're sitting and waiting for a doctor a half hour in the waiting room, you still want to read something. So we made sure that we put this publication in all those places where we knew that readers would have no choice but to sit there and really go through this magazine. And as I'm told by many women who read it, they literally go through it from cover to cover. I am targeting the right age group of women with what they want to hear about. We really hit a niche market. Now, funny enough, when we decided to come out with this magazine, we decided for it to be quarterly. This way we wouldn't have to rush too much to the next one. We could dabble a little, you know, get our feet wet, see what the response is from doctors. Well, what happened is by the second issue, every other complimentary magazine on Long Island went under. In anything, timing, they say, is everything. It definitely helps. So after the second issue, 2 of the doctors called me and they said, you have to come out more often. You can't just be a quarterly. Where are we going? A year into Long Island Image, Mr. Leibowitz, in his ambitious way, said, you know, it's time for you to take it to Manhattan. And what we did was we bought 50 boxes, those standalone boxes where you open the plastic and you could take out a magazine, you know, those kiosk boxes. We researched what the busiest corners were in New York City, and we placed the boxes on those corners, and we gave them out to all the doctors' offices in the city. What was going to make this different than other publications that are out there? Because there are other publications, not really that many complimentary anymore, but there are other ones, newsstand publications. Why me? Well, we had this great idea. We decided we're not going to have a writing staff. Well, this was an idea I had to highlight the doctors without making it advertorial, without them being biased. We actually have article submission guidelines that we put in the media kit so they know how many words they're supposed to write on their article. They love that they have a forum. They have a place where they can show off their expertise. We never put the article that the doctor's written next to their ad. We keep the article separate. We let it tell the story on their own, and then somewhere else in the book we put their ad. The reader sees the byline. Right away the reader goes to the contributors page to learn a little bit about the doctor that wrote in the magazine, and then a little later in the book they see the ad and they're like, you know what, I have to call this doctor. When you own your own business, you have to be at the forefront of knowledge. You have to be ahead of the trend. You have to know before the public gets the information, you have to get the information, or you're telling them yesterday's news. As an entrepreneur, your brain never turns off. And this is a decision you have to make when you go out and decide to have your own business. Understand that even when I was if I was going to push my kid on a swing, my brain is always thinking business. It never turns off because it's yours. And every thought is another dollar in your pocket. Every great idea is another dollar in your pocket if you implement it. Always make sure there's money in the business. So we decided we're going to work from our homes, and when we felt we had enough of a cushion, we went and looked for an office. Nothing lavish, a small office, and we can always grow. So when you start to make money, it doesn't mean you can take it out and go on vacation and buy jewelry. No, it has to stay in the business for that business to grow, and then you'll be able to reward yourself. Use your knowledge and use the passion you have and take it with you, but it's a long journey and it's not easy. So understand that when you decide where you want to go, that it is truly your main focus, and no matter how successful you become.